Illinois Stories is brought to you by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by the support of viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello, welcome to Illinois Stories. I'm Mark McDonald in downtown Springfield at the Prairie Capital Convention Center, where after 4 years of planning and 2 years of actual construction, they're nearing the end of a massive $15.8 million construction and renovation project. They're far enough along that we can actually show you what this might look like when they finish up in September. Well, Brian Oakes, I think the place to start this transformation story is in the administrative offices, because here's where you started the process. Here's where you sat down with the architects. Here's where it all came together, and where we have some schematics here that we can look at as to what's actually going on. In the program, we're going to go down into the meeting rooms, which have been refurbished and beautiful. We'll go into the auditorium area, the restrooms, all that, to show the audience what's been done. But let's put it in scale for folks. When did this project start?
Well, I started here as general manager almost 6 years ago now, and one of the first things that we looked at was the fact that the building was going on 30 to 35 years old, never had a major upgrade or expansion, and we felt like we really needed to look at what things we could do to improve the functionality of the building, modernize it, get through some operational hazards that we had coming through with electrical and plumbing issues, and also do some things that would allow the convention center to build new revenues so that we'd be successful long term.
Wow, really? 6 years ago, you started thinking about it. You put some plans together. Through all that time, of course, you had to choose an architect, you had to choose contractors and all that sort of thing. When did you actually start working on the building?
Well, we've been under construction now for almost 2 years, and fortunately, we're getting towards the end of construction. We're ready to get it all finished and operational, open it back up to the community, and get back into a full year of operation.
Well, listen, this is here's the artist rendering, and it's a beauty of what this is going to look like when it's finished. Lay out for us the angle from which we're looking at this, and also the newness of it. What parts of it are new?
Sure. So we're kind of looking at the building here from Washington Street. This is the northwest corner of the building across from Horace Mann, to give you an idea of where we're standing. And the existing building that people are used to seeing was just kind of a square blonde box, and this area is where we're standing at right now as our administrative offices, and right below it is what was our existing lobby before we started this process.
It was really small.
It was very small, and I think it was probably adequate when the building was opened in 1979, but as events have changed, they're looking for pre-function space, they're looking for areas to do registration, and so we knew that that was one of the areas that we had to tackle, was to expand that lobby area and give some more amenities that meeting planners are looking for.
Okay, so this was the lobby presently, and then now what you've done is this whole side of the building now becomes new lobby space, is that right?
Yeah, so there's two large additions, one that goes south here and another one that goes north. They're both equal size, but in total it's going to over double the size of our lobby. So it's great from a functionality perspective to give us new lobby space, but the other nice thing that these new additions to the building do is they give the building a new, modern, clean look. And so that goes from the look of the building going into the lobby, as well as the outside plaza, which we'll see a little bit later that we're changing, and also some new additions on the north and south side of the building that will add functional bathroom space, new concession areas, and some meeting planner offices.
If people are going by now and they're driving down Washington Street, they're looking at this area, and this is what's under construction. They're seeing that you're building out here, and this is going to be much needed space for what, bathrooms?
Yeah, the main thing that we're putting in here, and probably the #1 complaint we've had over the years at the convention center, is that there's no bathrooms on the main floor. So we can seat 3,500 to 4,000 people there, and yet we had no bathrooms. Everybody had to either go upstairs
I do remember
or
that,
down.
having to go up the ramp.
Yeah. So that's one of the huge additions here, is we're building out 30 feet from the building, all the way down the north side, and this is going to be all new bathroom spaces. So it's going to be adequate bathrooms to have a large crowd. And then on top of that, on our mezzanine level, we have an open air patio here down at one end, but then this is all new usable space for concessions portable
Kinda like a food
courts.
court, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
And
neat.
so that's the plan, is to put in a food court and to make sure that whether it's a convention or a big name concert that we're bringing to town, that we have the ability to take care of our customers the way that they would expect to be treated when they go to any major arena.
Let's look at some of these drawings over here. We were talking about, and I love this, we were talking about the lobby space. And now it's not, it was so tiny before. You can see, here's the box office.
Yes.
And it was just right around the box office, but all this is new. And are we going to be able to get in there and take a look at what that looks like
We
now?
are. It's under construction and
Okay,
it's
good.
a mess right
Good.
now, but
Well-
we're going to get in there and take a look. And so essentially in this rendering where we're standing right now is in this office. And I really think it's hard to tell how much larger this lobby is going to be from a rendering. But again, it over doubles the amount of space that we have in the lobby compared to where we started. And it's not only coming both north and south with new space, but we're also moving the outside wall out 8 feet to give us a little more width to the lobby. And then it also allowed us to do some things with remodeling the box office, adding more points of sale, and again, just modernizing the facility so that we can attract the best conventions here to Springfield.
Just west of the convention center is this parking garage here. And that was sort of a, there were trees and it was a weedy grown up area there. That's now going to be this kind of nice court. It'll be like a passageway between Washington and Adams, I guess. In
Yeah.
a very nice area.
We call it the plaza, and so again, this area, when it was first built, the trees were adequate size, but after 30 years, they had outgrown the space, and it really wasn't an acceptable entranceway into our facility. And so now where we were looking in here at the new lobby space, this outdoor area is going to be hardscaped with some planter boxes. And this is also going to give us a lot of opportunities to multi-purpose this space. So not only will it be a great entryway into the building, but we plan to do some outdoor summer events there, potentially concerts on the plaza, some family movie nights, maybe even wedding receptions or local bands who might want to perform on this area. And so it gives us a lot of flexibility and a great welcoming space into the building.
Now, some of this job is done. The lower level where the meeting rooms are, it has been redecorated and it's done. And maybe we start there to show what's possible, you know, and then work our way up.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, those, like I said, we've been under construction for 2 years. The reason it's been a long construction process is we didn't want to cancel any events. And so we've been working around our event schedule, phasing throughout those 2 years to close off smaller portions of the building at a time. And the lower level's finished.
Yeah, well, let's go.
Okay.
Oh, same elevator.
Yeah.
The elevator hasn't changed any.
It will. We'll redo
Is that
that
right?
here as part of the last part of the of this phase.
But this is, if for people who have been on the lower level, and we're the level below the main auditorium area, where the meeting rooms were. For those folks who were used to that before, this when they get off the elevator, it's going to be a surprise to them.
Yeah, we've had some of our board members even who, when I brought them down here for the first time, they said, "What level are we on?" Because it really is night and day difference to what we were dealing with before down here. And so there's some exciting changes. Yeah. We're glad to have this area done and be able to show it to you today.
This was concrete before. Now it's a really nice kind of neutral but fashionable carpet. Kind of neat.
Yeah, so the changes down here, I mean, everything was brick and block walls, just regular concrete pillars, and then we had a vinyl tile and just your standard white drop ceiling. And so what we did is essentially gutted the space. And so we went back in with the finishes you'd expect to see in, you know, maybe a conference center hotel type of building. And so we put in a nice carpet on the floor. We plastered the walls to give it more of a drywall look. We covered the concrete pillars with the glass and marble tile.
Got recessed ceilings.
Recessed ceilings, indirect lighting. And so it really is a completely different look than what we were trying to sell groups on bringing them to Springfield before.
Well, let's emphasize that point, Brian, because over here we set up a picture, and I kind of like the angle that we get here. You and I just came off the elevator out of this door right here, and we walked out into this area. This is what it was like for 30 years.
Yeah, for 30 years, this is, you know, what we had when people came off of that lower level elevator, and it's great functional space. We have a good amount of meeting rooms compared to the size of the main hall floor, but it just simply was outdated. The color schemes were outdated, the finishes were outdated, and what we have now is a really modernized facility that not only has a great look and feel to it, but it also has the amenities that meeting planners are looking for. So we've put in new technology, new audio-visual systems. We've put in the drop-down screens and projectors, and so what we're really trying to do is make sure that when we're asking meetings to come here, that we've thought of all their needs in advance so that we can be a one-stop shop
For every
for them.
question, you have a yes. right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You got that? Yes. You got that?
We
Yes.
do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's walk into the ballroom.
Okay.
Because this is kind of a hoot because it's probably about as big. When you take all the temporary walls down, it's probably about as big as anything in Springfield, isn't it?
Yeah, and so this room has one of the temporary walls up right now. And so this is 3 parts of what can be a 4-part room. It's almost 10,000 square feet.
Wow.
We can do banquets down here for up to 700 people. It's a little tight at 700, but with a head table on a stage, podium, dance floor even, you can comfortably seat 400 to 500 down here. And so where we had never had a lot of interest in this room before for banquets and weddings and things like that, we're now starting to see a lot of interest in this new finished product.
And you can partition it off, so if you have a smaller gathering than that, you can use a fourth of it or a half of it or 3/4 of it that way.
Yeah, and then this also doubles as meeting room space. So when we have conventions in town that need multiple meeting rooms, sometimes this is divided into all 4 parts so that they have smaller meeting room areas that can seat 150 to 250 people.
And again, let's remind people, this is kind of neat the way we have this set up. Kind of remind people what it looked like before. You can see that it's a world of difference.
Yeah, we did have carpeting in here, but it was an older, outdated, kind of blue and raspberry green, went along with the color schemes that we had. But again, everything was block wall, just the concrete pillars, the air walls that we had in place got recovered as part of this process as well. And so now the finished product that we have is, again, it's just a night and day difference to what we were trying to sell before.
Yeah, I've heard it compared to, I think maybe it was you that said, it kind of looked like junior high school before.
Yeah, it was very institutional, and I think what we've produced now is a really warm atmosphere. And again, it's what meetings expect.
If you go into the small meeting rooms, do they look like this?
They do, and we can show you some of those as well.
Okay, let's take a look at one.
Okay, great. And so this is one of our smaller meeting rooms. There's 9 meeting rooms that are similar in size to this one, and several of them also have air walls so that they can be cut in half, better for a group of 30 to 40 people in half of this room.
This is one that can be cut in half.
Yeah, this is one that can be cut in half.
Did you have 9 meeting rooms before?
Yeah, so we have the same number of meeting rooms, and when we put all the air walls up, we can have up to 16 different meeting rooms, which is there are several conferences that use all of our meeting rooms and for breakout sessions.
And would this be for like coffee pots, and if they wanted to have something catered, they could bring stuff in here? Or?
Yeah, so this is something we didn't have before. We put this in because it can be used for catering. It can be used for potentially a speaker who wants to have presentation materials at the back of the room so that as attendees enter, they can get those materials. And again, we've changed all the finishes in here, the lighting, the carpeting, and this gives you an idea of some of those things we talked about in the other rooms with the drop-down screens, projectors, and again, sound systems in these rooms.
Terrific. Well, Brian, the restrooms were adequate before, but they weren't very up to date, were they?
They were out of date.
Yeah, they were out of date.
Definitely out of date.
Yeah.
And so we're excited now with, again, the finishes that we've put into these new restrooms. People spend time in the restrooms when they're here at the convention center during their events, and we want it to make sure that it's a nice space. And so excited to have new tile work, new restroom stalls, and also some upgraded ADA accessibility. This building was 30 years old, and ADA codes had changed over the 30 years. And so while we were grandfathered into some of those things, we're really much happier being able to make sure that this building is available for anybody who wants to come and use it.
Now, there's the men and women's restroom on this. We're now on the north side of the building. There's also a set of them on the south side of the building, which serves the lowest level, the meeting room level. And then the bathrooms upstairs look just like this.
Yeah, so the bathrooms that are up in the mezzanine level, we've already remodeled. They look very similar to this, same tile work. And then, of course, the large bathrooms that we're just currently adding on the main floor will also end up with the same feel.
So this is what they'll all look like. I tell you what I love. I love this glass tile in here.
We love that
really
tile
neat.
as well, and we've used it in several areas throughout the building, and so we like that we're carrying some of those color schemes through, but also the finishes and the looks.
Yeah, terrific. Brian, let's take a short detour from the new areas of the convention center. I couldn't resist this storage area, which is on that lower level where all the meeting rooms are.
Yeah.
is not going to change because you got to have a lot of storage if you're going to run a venue like this, don't you?
Yeah, so we're kind of in the underbelly of Prairie Capital Convention Center right now. This is an area a lot of people don't see, but it's definitely one of the things they really did right with this facility when it opened 30 plus years ago. We have a great amount of storage area in the building, and it's really necessary because of all the different types of equipment we need to carry out all the different types of events that you do in a multi-purpose convention center and
always
arena.
wondered how the heck you do it. I mean, we were just looking at thousands, looks like thousands of chairs.
Yeah.
And as we go this way, I mean, we can see up there, I asked you, what are those rolled up rubber-like looking things?
Yeah, those are gymnastic mats that go on top of our basketball court during gymnastic events. There's pipe and drape down here. There's skirting for tables. There's 3,500 chairs. We use a lot of different types of tables, whether it's 8-foot, 6-foot, round tables for banquets, water tables, and of course things like our staging, that takes up quite a bit of space. We also have the basketball court.
Well, let's talk about that stage for a minute. You have big, like bands and big productions here.
Sure.
And all those black pieces there that somehow go together into one stage, is that right?
Yeah, so that's a newer stage that we just got last year. Those pieces fold down into a larger piece of stage and then connect to each other to make stages upwards of, I think, 80 feet wide by 60 feet deep.
Oh, my goodness.
Depending on the production of each different act that comes in, we have to change the size of that stage. And really kind of with every event that comes through here, one of the great things about working at the convention center is every day is a little bit different. We go from meetings and weddings, circuses,
basketball games. I don't know. But anyway, this gives us a good look here at the number of tables that you have to be ready to be able to put up. And then if you look even further back to the right, and you see all that wood stacked against the wall, that's the basketball court.
That's the basketball court. So it kind of goes together like a puzzle, and then when we're done and we need a place to store it, it all stacks up and goes into a nice rack there. Otherwise, we would really need a big place to try and lay out that floor.
Yeah, phenomenal. Okay, one of the complaints about, or one of the problems with this facility was on the main level, the auditorium level.
Yeah.
There were no restrooms.
No bathrooms.
Okay, we've addressed that, but we haven't seen what you're going to do to improve that situation. And also, concessions were a problem because people were lined up for, it seemed like a block.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes.
The concessions, we didn't have enough points of sale. It was hard to know where they were. And of course, the bathrooms, we can seat almost 4,000 people on that main floor and had 0 bathrooms. And so we're looking forward to showing you today some of the things that are going to change to make sure that our customer service experience when people come here is top notch.
Yeah. Let's go to that level.
Great.
Okay, Brian, we were talking about basketball courts and stages and all of the massive stuff that you have. This is where it happens.
This is where all the magic happens.
The auditorium floor. Yeah.
So
I saw a circus here last winter. Cirque du Soleil.
Cirque du Soleil.
It was phenomenal.
Amazing, yeah. What they did to the building coming in, you can really transform this room. And so again, it serves as the sporting arena for basketball. It serves as the circus floor for things like the Ansar Shrine Circus or Cirque du Soleil. We put a big stage down at this far end, and it becomes a huge concert arena like our Carrie Underwood show that we had in May. And it's also the place where all the trade shows and conventions happen. And so we do the home shows, and we do teachers events and firefighters events, and so there's just a lot of associations that use this space here for their trade shows.
And really, there's no problem with this space. The problem was restrooms and concessions. Yeah. And one thing you have done is all of the seats upstairs, some of them were in bad repair. They've been recovered and repaired, so that's taken care of. But we mentioned the restrooms and the concessions, and actually that's going to be addressed over here, isn't it?
Yeah,
on both sides.
Right, on both sides of the arena. This is one of the huge improvements here at the convention center. And first of all, we're taking a look at the concession stands. So when you used to come in from our main lobby over here, there were a couple of big block houses in the way.
Right.
The concession stands were kind of buried back around the corner, and we didn't have many points of sale. So one, not only did you not know where you went to go get your concessions if you'd never been here before, but also when it came intermission time, we would immediately have really long lines and a very long wait to be able to get concessions. So what we did is we tore down those block houses as you come in, and we tore down these concession stands and turned them. So now when you come in, the first thing you see is where your concession stand is. You know exactly where to go for your food and beverage. But also we added more points of sale, and again, modernized the space so that it's attractive and that we can, hopefully get people into that arena spirit when they're here for an event.
And you don't have to wait till you get to the concession stand. You've got these digital video menu boards up here, which
so
people can make their decision while they're in line.
Absolutely. Those television screens, they allow us some advertising opportunities, but also places to put in all of our menu items.
So you should have shorter lines.
Shorter lines,
be able to
much
serve
shorter.
more people in a shorter period of time. And as far as the restrooms being addressed, we mentioned you would have had to gone up the ramp to get to the restroom, but we're building out now. This is the Adams Street side. We're building out to the street, and on this level, you can see through that doorway where the restrooms are going to be.
Yeah, that's correct. Prior to this, you used to have to go up a ramp, up the stairs, down the stairs. There were no bathrooms on this level. But now where you see that plywood, that will be an entrance into a large new bathroom area, and it'll be mirrored on the north side of the building, but it'll actually be about twice as large on the north side as it is on the south side. And so that's a huge bonus for us to be able to have those bathrooms here on the main level, to make sure that during those intermissions, when everybody needs to use the restroom at the same time, that there's not a long wait to get into those, and people just don't enjoy that experience.
Right. Now, on the ramps that we mentioned, there are also going to be new restrooms and concession stands.
Yeah, so when you take the ramps or the stairs up to the mezzanine level, we're adding new concourses so that we can do additional points of sale for concessions there. And all of the existing restrooms on that level have already been remodeled. And so, again, they're much nicer than they used to be. And we have a few more restrooms on that level than we did previously as well.
Let's walk up that ramp.
That sounds great.
Okay, Brian, we've made it to the top of that ramp. We're on the Washington Street side now, and we're next to Horace Mann. The wall here is going to disappear.
Yeah, this one will come completely out because this will walk out on top of those bathrooms that we looked at on the main floor. This will be a new food court on the second level. So we're adding new concourse space here, area for standalone points of sale for food. And then also on this side of the building, down at this end, will be an outdoor patio.
Okay, that's way to our left down there. And that would be an area where if people wanted to take a soft drink outside or just go out and have a seat, they could just go out there and relax a little bit.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And so this is great space for us. Again, it adds points of sale, but it gets our customers off of the concourse level for their concessions. And so it will keep those areas from getting clogged up with people. And again, we're always looking for that better customer experience.
Yeah. Sean Mayernick, we opened the program talking about how insufficient the lobby was.
Very much so.
It was really, really way too small. We can see this is great because it's a perfect time to visit because the dimensions we see here are the old lobby dimensions, but you can see the new work that's going on here.
Yeah, this is going to be our new box office. We've increased the size of it as well as the point of sales. We're going to have over 5 windows now. So when we have a lot of walk-up traffic for events, there won't be many lines at all, which will help the user experience and as well as make a better impact on everybody's first impression when they walk in the center.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, and of course it helps to have it rounded off like this too, because it just gives you more space.
Yes, definitely.
Now we're looking. That's the Adams Street side over there, and where we see the plywood there. That's the dimension. That's where the old lobby ended.
Yep.
But it's going to go way beyond that, isn't it?
Yeah, we've added about 6,000 square feet into the existing lobby here. We've got roughly about 4,000 in the main lobby we had currently. We're expanding it both all the way north and south, another 6,000 square feet, as well as giving it some height as well. When they built it, as some people will probably remember, it wasn't very high ceilings. Had the plain tile, and we had all those 8x10s around the softening. So it's going to change dramatically from 1979.
We're kind of fortunate. We hit it at a time when they're not actually doing a lot of noisy work in here, or we wouldn't be able to be heard.
That's right.
And also talk about expansion. Now we look at the glass wall there. That's going to go out 8 feet.
Yeah, it's going to be expanded another 8 feet. One thing we heard was registrations for associations as well as events. We wanted more space in the lobby. As you guys know, we've got a lot of associations and business events, and a lot of it all starts in the lobby with coffee and donuts or registration, picking up welcome packets. By adding that extra 8 feet, it really adds to the space they'll be able to use, more functional.
Yeah, and also as we look out, if we can just get a look out where that glass wall is going to move out 8 feet, we also saw in the beginning of the program that there's a plaza that's going to be out there. It's not going to look like it looks now. There's going to be a really nice concrete plaza out there with some usable space.
When we started, we showed you that rendering. That's probably one of the most exciting things we've got going on at the center. By making it more hardscaped and usable, we'll be able to do some family events as well as some outdoor concerts. A lot of times our summer is an opportunity because a lot of people are at fairs and different things. They don't want to be indoors. So that outdoor plaza can really add to the downtown quality of life, as well as another opportunity for us to drive revenue for the center and to reinvest back into the center.
You have some unique business opportunities here. You know, we just saw that the University of Illinois Sports Center has been renamed State Farm Center. You've got some opportunities here that you're working on.
That's been the trend for, well, since Wrigley Field was named. You know, especially in the last decade, naming rights as well as sponsorship and private funding is what helps these multi-purpose arenas as well as stadiums drive a better product overall. Brian and the team here for the past 6 years has taken the product and made it better by bringing in better acts, making sure that people's customer experience was better. And now we have a product we think people want to be tied to. When I say people, we're talking about sponsorships as well as partnerships that can capitalize on the 350,000 people that walk through these doors. We're booked 225 days a year, which a lot of people in Springfield aren't aware of. And that's one of my main responsibilities to help connect those businesses with us. So.
What might we name this after? Who do you think locally might be interested in having their name on this Prairie Capital Convention Center?
I don't know if I want.
You mean Leeds?
Well, there's been a couple of people interested, and I'm very honored and privileged that they've kind of approached us, and so we'd love to obviously partner with somebody locally. Springfield is the biggest small town in the world, but you know, if we can't, then maybe there's a national company out there. But it's promising.
I was kind of hoping you'd have a scoop for us, but you don't have. We don't get that today.
Not yet, but we appreciate everybody's interest.
Yeah. Well, Sean, thanks to you and to Brian for helping us put this program
together. Thanks for coming, Mark.
It's really coming together very nicely. And to you for watching. I'll tell you, this has got to come together quickly because in late September, they have a WWE event sponsor ready to go here. And they expect thousands of people to attend that. And it will be ready. With another Illinois story in Springfield, I'm Mark McDonald. Thanks for watching.
Illinois Stories is brought to you by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by the support of viewers like you. Thank you. For a DVD copy of the program you've just seen, send $19.95 to Network Knowledge, P.O. Box 6248, Springfield, Illinois 62708. Be sure to include the program name, subject, and when the program aired. You can also order with your credit card by calling 800-232-3605.